What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Three Takoyaki Podcast. Yay! Yay, everyone. Be excited.
Yay!
Those aren't spirit fingers. These
are spirit fingers. You know, it's really creepy. I was totally doing spirit fingers while I was saying yay.
I did too.
We're so connected.
We're so simpatico. Okay, first off, this isn't related to anime at all, but I made Shelby sit down and watch Super Troopers yesterday, which is awesome.
I saw your things on Tumblr for it, and I was laughing so hard.
I can't wait for the second one. I'm so happy they got funded.
Wow, they're getting another one?
Yeah, they did. They posted an Indiegogo campaign yesterday, asking for $2 million, and they hit $2 million this morning.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, like in 24 hours. It's pretty crazy.
I'm so excited.
In like 6 hours to make half?
Yeah, like in 6 hours they were at like 1.2 million.
Why can't people pay for my college tuition like that? Is that not important?
Some of their perks were awesome. Like the $35,000 donation perk was you get to keep one of their cop cars.
What?
Yeah. Or like for $10,000, cool. You basically buy yourself a role in the movie, a speaking role. The one I wanted, though, was $25,000, and that was the cast of Super Troopers will come to your wedding and be your groomsmen.
Oh my gosh, that is the coolest offer ever.
Best thing.
Anyway, let's get back to why we're here, talking about anime. If you guys haven't listened to us before, we are basically a nerd podcast. We try to stick to anime, but as you've already noticed, we just kind of talk about whatever we're into at the moment or anything nerdy. My name's Eric.
My name's Shelby.
I was going to say my two silent compatriots are...
and I'm Katie.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't noticed, we have two girls on a podcast. That's pretty rare.
Your voice cracked. Are you nervous?
Yeah.
We're just too awesome for them.
I'm the only boy swimming in a sea of estrogen here at T3.
It's going to make it so much better.
That sounds weird.
It does sound...
You said T3.
Yeah, T3.
Well, no, because T makes me think of testosterone.
The three testosterone?
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'll stop.
Anyway, okay. So the way it works is the beginning of the show, we tend to take questions from our social media. So we're on Tumblr, are we on Twitter? I think we're on Twitter.
No.
I did not do that.
Okay, so we might not be on Twitter.
We should probably establish that.
So our Tumblr, which is the 3takoyaki.tumblr.com.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what it is. If you type that in and you get to a very gigantic picture of takoyaki, you're at our blog. You just got to keep scrolling because it's a hidden image kind of thing. So we take questions from you, the fans, the people who are listening to this podcast, and we take three. Each one of us grabs one from Social Network, whatever kind of piques our fancy, and then we ask each other the questions. After that, we will cover a topic that we've decided on last week, which this week will be Your Lie in April, that just wrapped up, which was fucking sad.
We're not going to talk about it yet.
Okay. We planned to record this episode last week, but the genius that is
Eric fucked up.
Shelby messed me
up.
No, Eric, you fucked up.
I don't want to take the blame for it.
Well, you have to. He's the reason all of you missed out on us. Blame him.
I feel like it just feeds into the whole caveman thing, and women are smarter than men.
Good.
Anyway, who wants to go first and pose their question?
I want to go first. So this is actually something I've been what's the best way to word it? Something that I've dealt with for a long time. And it's not just with watching an anime or reading a manga. It's reading books, it's playing video games. What I tend to do is build this really intense emotional attachment. I get so absorbed in the world that when I finish that book or I finish that show, I end up getting depressed, basically. And so what I actually wanted to ask you guys was, do you feel that as well? Is that an experience you often have?
Yes. Absolutely.
OMG. Okay, Rick, I'll let you go first.
And it's not even just anime for me.
Yeah, it's everything.
I watch a lot of K-drama. I watch a lot of J-drama. and I'm a baby. Like, if a story moves me, I will cry my eyes out. GTO does it a lot. GTO is probably the last one that did it to me as far as dramas are concerned. Shelby and I started watching the live-action version of Great Teacher Onizuka that's on Crunchyroll. Like, every episode was such a tear-jerking episode. The second season is not as good as the first season, but the first season definitely kind of choked me up. As far as anime is concerned, anything that's considered a romance really makes me kind of get those feels.
It's funny because it's not just romance for me. Usually it's, well, yeah, of course romance does it, but
Hajime no Ippo did it for me too, which is a sports anime. It's
usually for more dramatic, emotional, not even maybe romantic ones. Mm-hmm. But just those, like Tokyo Ghoul, for example. We're not going to talk about the episodes or anything because I don't know if all of us have done that, but
no.
I don't want to watch it because I've built up such a, like, emotional attachment to the main character, and I'm just like, what am I going to do when you're not here anymore?
I've definitely had emotional responses to anime before. Like, I've shared the story with you guys 1,000 times about how school days just ruined everything in my life.
Well, that is just fucked up. That is
so I definitely had, like, that emotional connection to certain things, but I would say as far as really having a connection with the character, Hajime no Ippo, hands down. Just the way that story starts and the way that character develops at the end is something that when it ended, I was so sad. But the fan outcry was so large that, like, 6 years after the project ended, they redid a new season. And then they redid a movie, and then they got a new season and a new sequel. So fan support is real for certain anime, and, you know, it does bring back dead shows.
How do you feel, Shelby?
Well, I know for a fact that there are shows that I will watch, and it's not even just shows, it's video games, too. I get really invested in role-play games, and anything, oh god, the Tales series, if I'm playing one of those, anything that has a really good story, and I'm just consumed by it, and then I finish it, and it's done, I'm like, now what do I do with my life?
Yeah, basically, and it's weird because this has been happening since I was, like, a child, too. It's not one of those, like, recent developments. It's just, it's weird how much all of us can get so invested in something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we try to escape our real lives and we find a home within these characters, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's fucking done, and it's so painful.
I think the deepest connection I had, besides what we're going to talk about later, was a drama. I don't quite remember the name of it. I think it was called Swim Boys. It was a Japanese drama about a swim team, a school swim team. And it had like 3 seasons to it. But the end of that series where the main character moves away and the entire team is like running after the train, just crying and like asking him not to go, like, oh, it fucking ripped my heart out. And that's like when my whole, I guess, otaku-ness, like I don't like using that word, but that's when I really threw myself into anime and drama as deep as I have. Because, I mean, before I would kind of watch stuff on Toonami or, you know, catch the anime series on a sub-site every now and then, but after watching that and having that experience was when I really decided, alright, I'm investing everything I can into this kind of stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's weird because, I mean, yeah, obviously anime is one of those, I will always create an attachment, but I've taken it to such a level where when I don't want it to end, I just won't finish it. I'll be at like the last chapter of a book, and I'll put it down. Hunter. It's, yeah, you can't end it, which is really weird because, oh my god, it's a fucking, you know, material project.
It's funny that is your question, because how do Naruto fans feel?
Oh my god,
because that just ended. Like, what, 2-3 weeks ago?
I think it was a little bit longer than that.
Well, the final movie's not out yet.
I think it actually just came out. I
don't know if they have an American release, but there's a Japanese version online that you can watch.
I think a friend actually went to go see it in theaters.
Did they do the private screenings already?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is officially done.
Yeah.
But there are kids who their entire life they knew Naruto. Like, they grew up with Naruto. How does that emotional connection just stop? You know what I mean? And Naruto is something that I would consider one of the pillars of Western anime fandom.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's Naruto, it's Bleach, it's Dragon Ball Z, it's, you know, these series that everybody knows from one time or another. And to have that show run for so long, I mean, I think the only other pillar that is still running is One Piece, right? Because Bleach ended.
My heart will die when that ends.
I don't think it's ever going to end, and I really hope it doesn't.
You can't say that, though, because everything has to end.
You talk about a fucking heart-ripping moment. One Piece Merry-Go Goodbye episode.
Oh my god,
Holy
I cried like such a bitch.
So did I. Like, tears pouring, gross crying.
Even when I see, like, things on Tumblr about it, I'll start getting super teary-eyed, like, no! That show...
man, that episode...
We just need to do a separate podcast, because we will never get to where we need to be today. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how... I mean, I watched the first... basically, the first half of Naruto where he was still a child.
Yeah.
But after that, it kind of fell through. Because, you know, you move on with life. I went to college and all that, so things kind of just stopped. But if I had carried on with it, it makes me wonder, what the fuck would I do?
Like, I watched...
Go
ahead, Shelps.
Thank you. I was thoroughly invested in the, like, I don't know how many seasons, but it was a long portion of Naruto. And, you know, I had the headband. I wore it to school every day. I knew just everything about all of the characters.
Did you know your hand signs?
And, no, I couldn't do them because my fingers are fucked up.
Oh.
You're a dick, Eric.
I'm sorry. I feel like I opened a wound.
My fingers don't work properly. They're weird. I can't explain it. It's a podcast. You can't see me. But
shut up. Sorry, Shelby. Please continue.
You know, and I had a group of friends, and we all watched it together. We'd call each other on the phone, watch the episodes on TV. Yes, the TV. We didn't have Crunchyroll at the time. I mean, it existed, but we didn't have the theater. And it was like we had like a Naruto family. It was crazy. And if I'd still been, you know, if we still kept up with the show now, I know one of my friends still does, but if, you know, at least she and I were still on board with every episode,
mm-hmm.
and it ended, you know, we used to write stories about the characters. I can't begin to imagine.
It breaks your heart. You know what I think is worse, though, than seeing something end, is seeing it not completed, because there's so much out there. Yeah, where the author gets sick, or you know, they aren't funded anymore. Like,
that should have been Shelby's question.
Sorry. All right. So
well, no, anyway, just really quick back to the Naruto stuff. Like, I watched the original series through the Chunin exams. I think the last episode I watched was like Sasuke versus Gaara or something, and then it went into filler, and I just couldn't I hate fillers. Like, that is the worst anime invention of all time, is the filler. And I skipped all the way to Shippuden, watched a healthy bit of Shippuden, and then that started getting into like the Kakashi stuff. And, you know, I don't want to say, oh, you're not a true Naruto fan if you don't watch everything, including the fillers, because I think that's retarded. But I wanted the main story. Like, that's all I really cared about, was the main story. So I stopped watching it for a really long time, jumped back into the Great War stuff, watched all of the Great War, and then they went back to filler. So I'm off and on with it, kind of like I was with Bleach. But I tuned back in to get the main bits of the story, and that's about it. So the one thing that I am happy about, because I watched the movie, I watched it all bootleg style, and my ship turned out to be real. Naruto, Hinata.
Oh, I know, right? Yes. That was so destined. Oh, I'm so
I had such a crush on Hinata for the longest time. It was, I don't know what it was, probably just the shyness or something. I don't know, but I just thought she was adorable. So I'm glad that worked out.
All right, so continuing on with our questions, Eric?
My question's pretty basic. I picked it because I know one of us is very, very into it. One of us hasn't experienced yet, and one of us is kind of in the middle. So, my question is, anime conventions. How do you feel about anime conventions?
I'm answering this one first.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Anime cons are the best thing, like, to experience ever.
That pause, that dramatic pause, I was like, oh, what is she going to do?
There's so much to say about anime cons, and I've been to several of them. They all vary, they're all different, they're different sizes, there's different people there, and they're not just limited to anime because, you know, you hear anime con, you think it's just going to be anime there. It's not. There's all sorts of nerdy, geeky things. There's Doctor Who cosplayers. There's people dressed as Homestucks. I know you think we're all trash, blah, blah, blah. Get over it. There's people dressed as, you know, Sherlock or Supernatural, and somebody yell out something nerdy.
How do you dress as Supernatural characters?
Magic. Do what?
I said, how do you dress as Supernatural characters? They're just in normal clothes.
Well, trench coat and stuff.
Winchester, hello.
Castiel is probably the only one you can really copy.
Those people get recognized. They're everywhere.
I want to laugh that one time someone walks in. Oh my god, are you cosplaying as Dean? Like, no, I'm just lost. I don't know what I'm at.
Wear a sign around your neck that says, what is it? I lost my shoes or something? Sure. I'm botching that line.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I just watched the show. I don't know.
It's a scene where he's like, I lost my shoe. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're talking about Sam when he drops his shoe down the storm drain.
Yeah.
That was like that's a thing?
Yes, that's a thing.
That was like the smallest part in one episode of like season 4.
Love it.
Fandom, man. Can't control it. Can't control it.
Look like Sam and have a sign that says, I lost my shoe, and pout around the convention. There you go. That's a costume. Closet cosplay is amazing. You really don't have to do too much.
I think it's funny that as she's answering this question, her Skype picture is literally from when she was at NDK last year.
It's so true.
She was dressed up in a Lolita costume.
I was a Lolita. It was so much fun. No, the only thing that can kind of get you down at a con is if you're with the wrong people.
Yeah.
You know, at a convention...
That's my experience with it.
At a convention, you need to be with your friends, with people you know, with people you know you're going to have fun with, and people who aren't going to start drama. If there's drama, walk away. You don't need that, because that's the biggest buzzkill ever.
I'm going to jump in and go before Katie, because Katie is the other side of the spectrum, as far as she's the one that hasn't experienced it yet. I'm the indifferent one, because I've been to conventions, and I have a love-hate relationship with conventions, because I love going, I love experiencing a place where you don't feel like you're closeted anymore. But I hate the people that attend conventions, because I don't know what it is about conventions, but everyone feels like it's their time to be an asshole. And I don't understand that. And I don't know if it's just a bunch of closeted nerds who are finally being able to be socialized for that one time out of the year, so they're just gonna release everything and, you know, do whatever they want. I don't know what it is, but I can't stand it. I come from, and this is, I'm willing to self-admit this, I come from a very hipster place when it comes to anime and nerdy stuff. There are certain things I really like to do at conventions. I love the panels. I love talking to the artists. I love talking to the voice actors. I love talking to people who basically make this a living, you know what I mean? Like, it's more than just a excuse to get drunk and dress up in costume. And from my experience from the cons here in my state, that's what like 40 to 50% of the people that go there do, is they just get completely fucking wasted, and it's kind of a headache to be in the common areas. So, for me, when I went with, well, at the time I didn't really know him, but Katie knows Jeff, Shelby, you know Jeff. He was just a classmate of mine. We were in college together. He asked me if I wanted to go. They had an extra spot in their room, so I went. And the time I spent with them was really fun, as far as like the few people I knew. But the second they wanted to go out and do something that I wasn't necessarily into, which was get drunk, I was by myself, and I was wandering around the convention just really not doing anything. So, I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's kind of like, it's hard to feel out of place in a place where everyone's like you, but I felt out of place in that place until I got to go to like Vic Mignogna's panel and actually sit down and socialize with Vic Mignogna. You know, those kinds of things I felt were really, really appealing to me. So ever since then, that's what I tend to do. Like, even when I go to like Denver Comic-Con, I'm the guy who kind of leaves the dealer room for the last day and goes and attends all of the panels that I want to attend. Like, I plan my day around that damn schedule that they hand out, and I go sit in panels and listen to the anatomy of a comic book page. I don't know.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
So, although I have absolutely no physical experience, I have a lot of opinions on this. So, buckle up. You're in for a ride. I think first and foremost, what I think is awesome about anime cons is I feel like if I did go, I would actually be comfortable being who I am, just because this side of my world people don't really know about, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm not open about the fact that I do this stuff. I which is sad to say, because I shouldn't be ashamed, but the way this whole genre is stereotyped makes it hard to just be open about it. So I think, I don't know, I feel like it would be nice to be around a bunch of people who are somewhat of similar mind, but then I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this because there's shitty people out there, but I'm a feminist. And you know, for all of those of you who don't know what feminism is, the right feminism, it's wanting equality for everyone. Men, women, transgender, lesbians, gays, everyone. It's just equality. That's all there is to it. I don't hate men. I'm very happy with penises. Don't worry.
Me too. Well, one in particular.
That being said, as a feminist, to go to these cons, I feel like it would be an issue. Because I'll follow really popular cosplayers like Yaya Han, and, you know, they talk about their experiences, and all I ever hear about is men who decide to, like, rope women or be overly sexual just because they're in these costumes. And that's where I think I would have a huge problem. I wouldn't want to go dressed a certain way because there's people who would objectify me, which that sounds so stupid, but it's so true.
Right.
I don't think I would feel comfortable. And if I saw a man, or not even a man, if I saw someone being sexist or rude to another human being, I think I'd just get pissed. And I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself.
That happens to me with cosplayers that catch shit for not fitting a particular body type, or not fitting the correct race of a character. Like, that shit pisses me off when I see cosplayers because I'm dating a cosplayer, right? I've seen the work that she puts into all of her costumes, the hours upon hours upon hours she slaves over her costumes just to get the tiniest of nuances right. And then to be shit on because she's not tall enough, or she's too skinny, or, you know, she's not the right shade, is complete bullshit. And that's like, it's the one thing that sets me off every time I'm on Tumblr and I see that shit. It drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's so fucking true. Like, you're gonna cosplay and you're gonna do whatever the fuck you want, and you shouldn't be judged about that. Hey, I'm not a fucking sexy 6-foot tall Asian, but I'm still gonna do what I want to do, and I shouldn't be judged for that.
And honestly, it comes back to your first topic. It's not about the character, it's about the connection you develop with that character that makes you want to cosplay that character.
Exactly. Well, and I think another huge thing that people just, again, feminism, I should be able to wear a short skirt and not be labeled as a whore or wanting it. I'm wearing a short skirt. Awesome. Go me. I look great. Like, don't objectify people specifically with what they wear either. Yeah. It's the fact that they're there. It's the fact that they're enjoying themselves and they want to be out there and they want to support the shows and the books that they love.
And I should be able to wear a short skirt without everyone feeling jealous about how sexy I look in
exactly.
a short skirt.
Yeah. Well, so, yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to break up the tension.
It's just true, though. So all of those who are going to be listening in the future with these things...
Shelby probably has the better perspective on how the dynamic between, let's call them anime convention photographers and cosplayers goes.
I see a lot about that.
Because for some reason, everybody's a professional photographer at an anime convention.
Yeah, because they have a big camera doesn't mean that they're professional.
It's interesting because it's gotten better in recent years and depending on where you are. Because if there's a cosplayer taking pictures, typically they're one of us. You know, the cosplayers are now in charge of the photo shoots. And they're part of the photo shoots. It's a friend. And a bunch of everybody else knows them. Or they've been doing the photo shoots for maybe a year or two. And, you know, they're trusted and part of the community. They have a fancy camera, but they're probably dressed just like somebody else walking around. And they're not one of those, it sounds like a stereotype, but it's not because I've encountered like 15 of them, you know, that typical guy in a, you know, I say guy, there's probably girls too, but it's just a random sort of middle-aged looking guy, t-shirt that's unrelated to anything, khaki, big camera, walking around asking to take pictures of girls, you know, possibly guys, I don't know, but there was a time when this guy asked to take a picture of me, and I was much younger, and, you know, he takes a picture, and then like 5 minutes later, he asked to take a picture again. I was in the same outfit. I was standing in the same area.
Those photographers have some balls, man, because, like, could you imagine just walking up to a random person on the street and asking for a
that
picture?
Would dude. So I took a photography class a while ago in college, and that was actually a huge, like, thing we had to discuss was rights, like photography rights, basically. It's just, wow, the lawsuits, like, you could sue for anything. It's really incredible. Sorry, that was just a side thought, but it's pretty impressive. And especially, like, if you're, usually, I'm assuming most of them are usually held within, like, large convention centers or hotels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Technically, if you, like, because they're on private property, they'd have to get a release from the hotel, from every single person that they take photos of. Like, it's so deep,
so
but
it's like a YouTube shoot. Like, you have to actually get release.
Oh yeah,
signed.
You have to have agreement by anyone who's in your photos that is, like, you can tell it's that person or whatever. And he has to be able to get permission from the hotel as well. For some people, like, if I were to go, I would just take pictures of the people that I thought looked cool and maybe put them on Facebook, you know?
Yeah.
But if they intend to do anything professional, put their logo on it, sell it, or anything like that, you have to have all those releases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, just to cover our bases, we're not shitting on all photographers that go to
Oh,
anime
no,
conventions.
no.
I have a couple of friends that are professional photographers that do photo shoots at conventions. You know, one of my closest friends, Justin, I don't know if you met him.
I don't think so.
I worked with him for a long time, and him and his girlfriend at the time were really big into cosplay. He started a website called Anime Hype. Not sure if they're still running or not, but he started his own photography company where he goes and does these photo shoots with cosplayers. And he's a cosplayer himself. You know, one of his most famous cosplays is Bane. So if you go through Tumblr and you see the comic version of Bane, I've seen Justin on Tumblr a couple of times. And it's usually people who just take the photos and reblog them or whatever. But, you know, he's in it. He's been there. He's been in the position of people asking for photographs. So I feel like there's a certain amount of respect that comes with a photographer who's been a cosplayer, you know, or is a cosplayer. So I just don't want people to think that we're shitting on all photographers that go to conventions, because we're not. You know, if they go through legitimate channels and they're professional and they act professional and they treat their client, model.
Client, yeah, model I think is best, yeah.
If they treat their model with the same respect that they would want to be treated with, I think it's fine.
Well,
but as long as it's not like those creepy laying on the floor trying to get the best upskirt angle without being creepy type of photographers, then there's an issue.
I think all in all, what we're just trying to say is that there's a fine line.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, with everything in the world, a few bad people make the whole stereotype.
Yeah.
So we're not saying that, but, you know, I mean, there's just a fine line, and sometimes people encounter less than good role models, I guess is the best way to put it, and that's, you know, that's also something we have to deal with.
Just on a side note about cosplay photographers, fucking credit the photographer.
Oh my god.
Like, I've seen so many advertisements for, you know, costume shops or, you know, conventions or any kind of anime sites, or the biggest one is fucking fetish porn sites that will steal cosplay photos and use them in their advertisements.
And you know how pissed the cosplayer.
Oh yeah,
not
for
just
sure.
The photographer, but the cosplayer. Because what kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah.
On a side note, back to my photography class, if they ever so wanted to, they could probably sue and get all those images taken back. Just as a side note.
You know, if you're a photographer and you like shooting conventions and cosplayers at conventions, the best piece of advice I can give to you as a designer is watermark all of your shit.
And they do. Like, you know, like I said earlier, a lot of the photographers now, they're cosplayers too. You know, like your friend, did you say Justin?
Yeah.
And that's what makes them more respected and trusted. And anyone else who takes photography, who takes photos, we're all taking pictures with their phones. Mm-hmm. You know, we're taking pictures of each other. It's all like selfies and stuff. Hey, can I take a photo with you? Oh my gosh, I love that character. Can I take your picture? Can I get a picture with you? You know, it's all of that.
And Justin is the type that invested in it. Like, he has the big fancy camera. He has the reflectors. He has all of the skill as far as digital post work. So, like, you see, like, the really cool cosplay pictures of a Goku cosplayer, but in post it's all like they add all the Super Saiyan effects and shit like that. That's the kind of stuff that Justin does. Mm-hmm. So it's like the really high quality, almost poster worthy cosplay photos.
And, you know, I think the reason
just mad props to photographers who go above and beyond like that.
Shelby, were you?
Oh, I was going to say, I think the reason a lot of people like Justin have gone above and beyond in photography, not just because they love it, but with the cosplayers, you know, they have the passion for it, but it's kind of because of those weird, creepy photo people that we didn't like from before that have kind of started to slip away, hopefully. Nobody wants their picture taken by those people. And so the right people are stepping up and
trying to change it.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. I like that.
Well, on the side, I know we're totally off track at this point, probably. Let's make this the last comment, but afterwards, we'll go to Shelby's question. On a side note of sourcing, just source everyone. There's not even photography, but art, just art. So many artists don't get the credit that they deserve.
It's really easy to do, too. Don't fucking cut out their name of the picture. Like,
I know, right? It's right there.
Most artists include the signature or a copyright stamp or something. Just don't fucking be a douche and cut it out. Like, just leave it. It's like the easiest thing you can do to give credit to somebody is just leave their fucking stamp on there. Don't change it,
yeah. Awesome. So, Shelby, what question do you have for us?
So my question is a little lighter, hopefully.
Katie's fault.
Sorry.
So, I want to know, this is for both genders. Okay, what is your anime, like, out of all anime, or whoever you can think of, your anime girl crush and your anime guy crush?
That's not a fair question.
It is a good question.
That's like asking me to choose who my favorite child is.
And if you don't have like just one, just pick a random one.
Oh my god, I hate you so much right now.
I'm sorry, I hate myself because I have to answer the question too.
Now I gotta think.
I know, right?
I'm gonna steal everybody else's. I'm gonna say Zoro and Seto Kaiba.
Not allowed.
Oh, fuck, man. Okay, well, damn it.
Or if you just want to list a bunch of guy names and then list a bunch of the girl crushes, that can work, and just don't comment about them.
No, I'm gonna try to do 1 and 1. I'm gonna try to narrow it down.
Okay, well, I'll probably have...
if I possibly can.
Tits,
God,
man.
why can't I think of any fucking characters?
Okay,
yep.
I think I have...
We can take all the time we need to think. If I need to insert Jeopardy music and, 15 minutes later in the editing, that's fine. I don't mind.
A long, long time
wait.
later.
I think I have the ones that come to mind immediately. So, I'm going to talk about 3 anime guys, unfortunately. But I can't choose. So the first one is...
You gotta have a girl, too.
I know. I haven't decided on that. So, when it comes to the men, obviously I'm a diehard One Piece fan, and the one character that I'm absolutely in love with is Luffy, but he's an asexual character, so I can't imagine him sexualized. So he's my crush, but
I like when they do sexualize him, though, in the show.
Oh my god, I know!
He gets like, the dreamy anime eyes. Oh, it's the funniest.
You love it?
Anyway.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Pause. You just blew my mind right there.
Why?
Never in my life has anyone referred to an anime character as asexual.
No, he literally is, though.
No, totally.
That's never occurred to me ever.
Well, it's...
I know what the word means, but I don't understand.
Well, someone who isn't... Wow, it is really hard to describe.
No, I understand what asexual means, but
no.
How do you know Luffy?
Because it's the way he acts. It's just the way he responds to the world around him.
He's not physically or sexually...
If it's not roasted
driven?
meat, he's not interested.
Yeah, basically.
Like, if it's not food, he doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't have those needs, I guess. He doesn't care for those needs.
He's a very single-track-minded character.
Yeah.
And it's food. Yeah, he does like food a lot.
It's food or it's his friends. That's what he cares about.
So yeah.
His crew is everything to him, so he knows love, but I don't know if it's the kind of...
No, it's a camaraderie kind of love. Yeah. It's not an actual, like, I'm in love with you. Which is why I think I love him so much, because it is so incredibly rare.
He's the most pure character that I've ever seen in an anime, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean...
Or two.
So much of anime is super sexualized. There's no getting away from it, but somehow Oda has created this character, and he just said, fuck it. Which I think is awesome. I cannot see him as a sexual being, which is so weird. But, like, there'll be, like, fan fiction and whatnot, and if all of a sudden Luffy's, like, trying to fuck someone, I'm just like, nope, not doing it. Anyway, so Luffy is my all-time favorite, no matter what, but I wouldn't call it a crush. He's just, I admire him. On that, God, it's so hard. I guess, again, One Piece, which Eric knows. Zoro, he just exudes sexy. If I was in his world, I would just,
Even he's a character that doesn't really express
he's
interest.
Not, but at the same time, he has those...
He has a thing for samurai women, though.
Yeah, and he has those generic
like an admiration kind of thing.
Yeah, and he just, he's a man. Which is
I was going to say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you see him, he exudes, I'm a man, I'm sexy, and I'm strong. Which obviously, Luffy does that too, but there's that childish quality to him that you can't put him in that kind of box. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Third and final? Oh, God, this is so hard.
I can't even think of one.
I've got like 4 guys, and I don't even know where to go with the girls. I'm just like, what?
Okay, I'm trying to think about what character I would totally bone. And it's really hard to think of because there's so many.
Oh, don't put it that way, because I just wrote... Oh, okay.
Well, that's why I mentioned Luffy though, because I would never want to bone him. He's not that way.
Why do all girls start with A? Sorry.
I think I have my final one, which is again super stereotypical.
I need to look at something because I can't think of. My mind's just blank.
Just Google. You're good.
So it's actually funny because I think, as a little girl, obviously, like half of this entire freaking planet, I watched Sailor Moon.
Woo!
And so I think ever since I was little, I've had the biggest crush on Tuxedo Mask. Like,
hell yeah.
And especially now with Sailor Moon Crystal.
Fucking Tuxedo Mask is like 60 years old now.
Well, yeah, but Sailor Moon Crystal, like, they updated the art and everything, and he's just so dreamy. Ugh. And I think it's nice because, unlike Zoro, he actually has a relationship, and you see him act this way, and I think that makes it easier to be like, oh, I could fuck you.
Oh, that's so sweet. This is just a little tiny story that I have to tell. My friend at an anime con found a Tuxedo Mask cosplayer, and it was her first con, and she freaked. I mean, like, she got a picture with him and everything, and she was just, I can't explain, but her excitement was way over the top.
I would probably do the same.
You would. You would have been you would have been way worse than her, no offense, but it would have been the cutest thing ever. He's
been my dream man since I was like 6 years old.
Imagine seeing a real life Tuxedo Mask, Katie.
I know, right? I think I would freak out.
Uh-huh.
But he's like the base of every dream guy I've ever dreamt of, you know? He's always been at the center of that universe. Girls. Wow, that, again, fucked up question. Oh, fuck. It just, you know what's hard about that question? Is I feel like I feel like the anime world is unbalanced when it comes to, like, prominence of main characters.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're asked a question like that, you're like, oh, men. Here's another guy. Here's another guy. It's harder to think of the women because they're not as prominent. I mean, obviously there are plenty of female-based shows about women, but they're so sexualized that I kind of tend to ignore those. Oh, God. There's so many. Now I can't think of anything.
You want to go around with the guys and then come back to the chicks?
Yeah, give me time to Google some animes that I've watched. Give me time to think.
I didn't think my question would be this hard.
That's because it's like, you're asking us to pick a single thing out of all the anime we've ever seen, and I've seen so much that I can't even remember half the shit I've seen.
Exactly.
My bad.
You go next, because I'm still thinking.
Me? Okay, so I had to write down a few names for the guys, and like you guys, I'm having trouble thinking of a bunch of anime. To me, it depends on whatever it is I'm watching at the time, because, you know, whoever the character is in whatever show that happens to wear glasses, I'm generally like, oh, I like that guy because I have a glasses fetish. That's just me. You know, and
that explains a lot.
My glasses, so, which is weird because none of the people on my list are wearing glasses. I don't really know why that is, but is Katie still here?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Alright, just to explain, I guess, because that was such an awkward transition.
I just want like, there's no more hype anymore, and I'm confused, so...
Shelby was in the middle of talking about her selected anime boys, and Skype decided to drop all of us from the call, so we had to jump back in, try to pick up where we left off, and it didn't go very smoothly. So, anyway.
Yeah, because...
Back to Shelbs.
Okay, so my list consists of Kirito from Sword Art Online. That's like the most recent anime that I've had like a die-hard crush on somebody, because Kirito is all awesome and manly and fights with a sword and does a bunch of stuff. If you haven't seen Sword Art Online, go watch it, like, now. Because I love that show. It made
She's heartless.
Hey!
I'm just kidding. Continue.
No, I kind of am. I don't know. I don't cry over stuff that you guys do.
Eric and I are such babies.
I
think it's either like two ends of the spectrum, or I just really don't cry over stuff I should. I don't know. But I really like Kirito, and I can't really put into words why. It's probably because it's got a big connection with me and Rick. He and I just watched that show together, and I constantly was relating that character to him, so that's probably why I like him so much. Because I'm
awesome, basically.
Yeah, because he's the, always comes in and saves the day at the right time. I didn't hear you, I'm talking.
Of course, story of my life.
And Rick, guess the next person on my list.
I'm gonna have to say Seto Kaiba.
Yes, you are correct.
It's between him and Lelouch.
Oh my god, I didn't put him on there.
You kidding me?
I have a poster. I have a wall scroll to the left of me. I didn't even think of it.
Lelouch fucking stared at me for like 3 years straight.
Jesus Christ, I am so dumb. Yeah, Seto Kaiba was on there because I had a crush on him all through, I don't know, when the hell did Yu-Gi-Oh! Air on TV? I was just obsessed with Kaiba. Because
it was his pointy jackets.
It was his stupid jacket and his douchebag voice. Like, I don't know. I was a kid. I was younger.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Then Light Yagami from Death Note.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Everybody hates me for that one.
It's because it's so typical.
Well, I think what everyone who watches any of these things, what we're all attracted to is that power.
God, mine are like super off the fucking wall.
That's good though. That's what we need.
Like, I don't have any I mean, maybe one of my characters is mainstream, but I picked 4: 2 girls, 2 guys.
Okay, well, let's hear yours then.
No, I'm not done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Me. I'm kidding. Light Yagami, because, yeah, like you said, Katie, the power and stuff, I really liked Light, and he was totally psycho, and, I like weird shit, so at the time, again, I was, in middle school, high school transition, because he was freaky and strange, and I got a poster of him on my wall, and he stares at me and Ryuk's over him with those olive eyes. I have Itachi on there for reasons I can't explain anymore. I was obsessed with Naruto back in middle school, like I told you guys, and for some reason I liked Itachi. Again,
we had
douchebag character. I don't know why.
He didn't turn out to be a douchebag though. If you watch the whole thing.
No, he didn't. Originally, though, everybody was yelling at me, like, he's such a jerk, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, he isn't. Why won't you listen to me?
I mean, he did kill his clan, but...
Yeah, but that's...
If you watch Shippuden, it explains everything.
Yeah, well, I had faith, and nobody would listen to me.
He still sucks compared to Sasuke.
Still what?
So he still sucks compared to Sasuke, in my opinion, as far as Uchihas go.
I still like Itachi. He's taller. And then Rick, you mentioned Lelouch. I do have his wall scroll up there, and I won't go into detail because that's.
I like how she said pick one of each gender.
I know,
picked
right?
Like 6.
Well, I said, or you can go into a list, because I can't think of one person.
I didn't list my obvious one.
What?
I felt like
you did not list your obvious one, which is Hinata.
Yeah. Because I mentioned it earlier, but...
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, so my first one is from One Piece, which is Boa. I just really like that character. I think the way she fawns over Luffy is fucking adorable.
I hated her, and then she met Luffy, and then I was like, oh, never mind.
But her backstory kind of explains why she's a bitch at the beginning, but...
Oh, yeah.
So she's like my obvious, or she's like the most known. And then the second girl I picked was Kyoko Mogami, if you guys know who that is. Maybe? Yes? No?
Not by name.
No? Okay, she's the main character from an anime called Skip Beat.
Yes, I know.
The whole premise of the story is she's dedicated to this guy who becomes a pop star and he treats her like shit. And then she decides to get revenge on him by becoming a popular actress. And she just throws herself full into acting and becomes, there are certain scenes in the anime that I'll go back and just rewatch because it's such an awesome transformation for that character. So I really like her just because of her dedication to that. And then my two off-the-wall guy picks are Takuto from Star Driver, because he's the galactic Bishonen. He's the galactic pretty boy, and he's awesome. And he pilots a gigantic mech that looks like a musketeer. If you guys haven't seen Star Driver, I recommend go watching Star Driver, because it's an awesome show. And then Ryuji from Toradora is my other one.
Ryuji, oh my god! Okay, sorry.
Simple, clean. Just, I like those characters. I'd fuck all 4 of them. I don't care.
With female characters, I think I have a problem with female characters. So what I want to see when I see a female character, in order for me to be attracted to them, is a cold, heartless, murdering bitch. Like,
hell yeah.
I want them to just destroy lives.
What the?
I know, right? Super dark. And, like, I love so many female characters out there, but for me to truly be, like, attracted and have a crush on them, they have to be heartless. So one of the ones, probably the only one I can absolutely say yes to right now, is Shiro from Dead Man Wonderland.
Okay. Yep.
Not so much her childish side, but her, like,
her
destructive...
demonic fucking I'm gonna murder everything side?
Oh my god, yeah. And I think part of that is, for me to be attracted to a woman, I admire her because I would like to aspire to be like her.
You want to kill people?
I know, right? That sounds so screwed up. But what I mean by that is, like, if I could have that power, if I could just destroy people's lives, that would be insane. I know.
What's wrong with you?
She could probably fuck you and then kill you. I just want to inform you of that.
I'm a really dark person on the inside. But yeah, I mean, so I've always had a really big imagination as a child, even up to now, and if I ever imagine myself in another world or whatever, another book, another anime, I always end up being the fucking life destroyer, and it's awesome. So yeah, I picked Shiro, so yeah, there you go.
So that's your only one?
Yeah, well, I like other female characters, but, like, Sailor Moon, she's cool, but she's too childish. I guess the best way to put it is she's too weak. And that sounds really fucked up, but I don't have a crush on her. I think she's fucking awesome, and I think she's a great role model for a lot of girls, but at the same time, it's like, I wouldn't want to have relations with you. So, no. I think that's about it. Just that one that I can think of.
Alright, well, we're going to take a break here, and then come back with what we're supposed to be talking about in this episode, which is Your Lie in April. So, we'll be right back.
でもそんなじゃダメもうそんなじゃほら心は進化するよもっともっと
Hi guys, welcome back. So we are going to go ahead and start the main, as main as it can be, part of our podcast. Today we are going to talk about Your Lie in April and how we all felt about that. So there's going to be a lot of issues and a lot of
Tissues.
sadness. yeah, issues and tissues. That is the title of this.
That's the title of this episode, Issues and Tissues.
I know, right? Perfect. So, wow, I forgot everything that we recorded as a back.
Well, I mean, as far as Your Lie in April is concerned, I started it when it first started airing. And I was just kind of watching it by myself until I told Shelby about it. But I'm a big fan of musical animes. I mean, all the way back to, like, La Cour d'Oro, which is a different musical anime. I just really like the seriousness of, like, when they start to perform. I think it's really cool. But Your Lie in April is different from the beginning because it was so emotional from the get-go. Like, just finding out the main character. Like, the second you realize who the main character is and what he's been through, that's just like the beginning of the heart torture.
So when I first started watching, I think the first 2 episodes, I was kind of bored because I like to see people get murdered and I like to see really fucked up stuff. And obviously Your Lie in April is not that kind of show. I was very happy to see, though, that by the 3rd episode, I binged watched the entire thing in like one day. I couldn't get enough. And I think probably because the main character has such a dark past, and that was really attractive for me, you know? some animes just decide to stay lovey-dovey, but this one took a darker turn, and I think that is one of the reasons why it was so awesome. You get to see the character grow from such a dark, depressing point, and then go through more and more horrible crap. I mean, oh my god, this poor kid, if I was in his place, I'd probably just hide under a rock for the rest of my life. But I was really pleased. It was really, really good.
Awesome. In contrast to that, Katie, I like the darkness and the just horrible shit he had to go through. I mean, I don't like that he had to go through it, of course. That's horrible.
I do.
But what I really enjoyed is that despite all of the just menacing grief and anxiety around the moments of light and color and joy when Kaori was around, or because of the music, that to me was just so amazing. And even though some episodes ended on a low note, the ones that ended on a high note, it just left me with this fuzzy feeling. I love fuzzy feelings. And I get them from both good things and bad,
Talking about that ending on a light note, I don't know if we should be too specific about what happens, because I'd like everyone who hasn't seen it to obviously watch it, but it was such a happy ending through this tragedy. It was such a happy ending, and I think that's what made it so awful, because I ended up crying so much on the last 2 episodes, and what I think was the hardest to see was the fact that he was okay, that he was able to grow and live through that experience. And I think the fact that it ended so happily made it that much more strong. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing that kind of captured me was the overall look of the anime. I think it's one of the most beautiful anime I've seen, but probably the most beautiful anime of this current season. I guess it's wrapping up. The winter season is wrapping up, but yeah, it's probably the strongest one, in my opinion, that came out of the winter season. Mainly because there really wasn't any precedence for it. Like there wasn't anything building up the hype for it, or the series that we got that continued on from last fall, as far as like Kuroko no Basuke and Ace on the Diamond. Like all of those, we had something to go off of, and we knew that they were going to be good. But Your Lie in April was one of those ones that was just really, it was a dark horse. You see the thumbnail for the show, and it's kind of a very happy looking thumbnail. You watch the first couple episodes, very happy, bright colors, that whole shebang. But then you really start getting into the meat and potatoes of the show, and like you guys said, it's probably one of the darkest as far as character backgrounds are concerned. Like, it's written so well that the characters have so much depth, and I'm talking about the 2 main characters that you follow, as far as Kaori and the main character, Arima. So I've to this day haven't seen that level of tragedy build characters. I can't even name an anime that has decided to just leave all of their character development to how much bad shit happens to their main character. Like it's fucking sad at certain points. And I mean, Shelby can attest to this. I bawled like a baby when the show ended.
Yeah. You know what I think, talking about that character development, there's a lot of animes out there that do have, dark pasts, and then you see the character rise up as a hero. What I think I really truly enjoyed about this was that, yeah, you did see that. What's the best way to put it? It's hard to talk about it that way because he's not fighting battles. He's fucking playing the piano.
He faced a lot of dark shit in his life, and it's not like he overcame it with super strength or superpowers. He coped. Like,
but I think what's best
was so real.
Yeah, you see that struggle. I mean, there were so many points where I was embarrassed. I didn't want to watch because I was like, oh my god, you look like a fucking idiot. This is embarrassing, and I feel so bad for you. And I think that was what was so intriguing about the character development, too, is, yeah, you see some embarrassing moments in other animes, but, I mean, in a second. they're back up. They're awesome again. Everyone loves them.
I mean,
he would end his piece, and people were confused. They weren't sure, and I think that was what was so incredible.
Yeah. I mean, even the personal issues that each person had, like, you know, Arima's jealousy for Wataru and Kaori's relationship. Like, he envied that so much that you felt it. Like, if you've ever been in a relationship where, you know, you're on the outside looking in, and, you know, all you want to do is connect with that one person, but they're too busy connecting with somebody else, like, that shit is fucking real. And it's heavy. You know, or from Kaori's aspect, where everything's not okay, but she's still smiling around her friends to make it feel like it's okay. You know, it's one of those things that it's just, it's so real that it almost makes you not want to watch it. Because we watch these things to escape from our lives. We watch these things to escape from our issues. To see characters that we've grown to love go through those issues, it's fucking rough.
You know what I thought was interesting, because you mentioned the outside looking in kind of perspective. I didn't think about it until you actually just said it, but I think Watari ended up... I feel more bad for him than I do for Kosei, because he's the one who she said she liked, and it was always so clear that she didn't. And I feel bad, because he must have... I mean, he seemed to actually care about, obviously, you know, girls are girls, and he's going to like all girls, but he actually had that connection.
Was also Watari. Like, it's not like he was only seeing Kaori through the show. Like, they showed him plenty of times texting other girls, or, you know, the second he'd leave the hospital, he'd be like, all right, time to go meet what's-her-face, you know? So,
in the end, though, there was a moment where he looked at the photo on his phone, and you're just like, holy shit, this guy has been in the background the whole time, but he's feeling just as much of a brunt of it as some of the other characters are.
You know, and then you have the dynamic between Arima and so like that whole childhood friends. You know, it's a pretty typical anime trope.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. You just gotta watch it. You just gotta watch the show, because I don't want to say too much, because I don't want to give away, you know, the twists and turns towards the end of the show. But it seems like a typical anime trope. But then, towards the end, they turn it on its ear, and it's so much more impactful than any other time we've seen it.
I do want to mention one specific scene, which isn't going to give away too much, I don't think. Besides, if you're watching this, you should have already watched it, so shush. The moment that his mom beats him in front of all the other children, and you see that pure hatred in his eyes. I think that was so beautiful.
As a kid, all he wanted to do was play to make his mom feel better. And all he ever got in return was...
he was trying to make her, like, not sick anymore. He truly believed his piano playing would heal her.
I will never forget that look. I think the way they illustrated it, too, made it so much more impactful. Because it was true hatred. And I think that was so awesome. And the fact that is basically the last thing he said to his mother just is so deep. Holy shit. Talk about fucked up. Like, oh my god.
Even my dog's barking at me now. Even as deep and dark as the dark elements of it were, there were elements of the show, like Shelby said, that were bright. And in my opinion, it was always the music pieces that gave me more chills than the actual drama pieces of the show. Like, I don't know who they got to play the piano or do the music for this show, but the music was fucking incredible.
I think you're right. I was in orchestra when I was younger for several years, and so I just love classical music, and you always feel that emotion, and I think that just it gives you chills. It's incredible. But putting that aside, I think in my personal opinion, the most meaningful thing I remember about Kosei and Kaori being together is them underneath the stars, basically, and around the like fireflies. Like, I think those were more emotional than anything in that whole show. It's just their intimate moments.
I was too busy singing over here. You know, I don't know what to say. This anime is just so amazing. One of my favorite moments was way toward the end of the show, and it's when Kaori is playing that invisible violin.
Oh.
Yeah, I just can't get that out of my head. It's amazing because Kosei can see the music. He can hear it because he just knows what she's playing because he can't hear his own music when he plays it, but because he's watched her, he knows. You know, it's that curse he's been struggling with the entire anime that has been pulling him down that's finally become a blessing. And he's able to see the music and it just rings in his ears and that revitalizes him. And, you know, that was the moment when she told him that she was going to still fight. She was going to have that surgery and that, you know, she wasn't going to give up. She was going to continue struggling. That's a big word in the show. They say struggle a lot. And that's what the show was about. Katie, you said that they don't, you know, get back up right away and become the big star and, oh, everybody loves them again because they're struggling. They're constantly struggling. And that's what makes them so realistic and we can connect to them. That idea itself, for me, is what brings it all together. And it was the dark moments that made lighter moments even brighter. Seeing Kaori so pale in the hospital.
Oh my god, yeah, she got, oh wow, and her hair even.
And like, you could see that because the entire show, she was so saturated with color and everything was so bright and cheery and beautiful. Rick, you said the art style was wonderful. I was staring at their faces the first 3 episodes like, oh, they're so pretty and cute. But, you know, Kaori gets sick and she just looks so drained because that's what they did. They took the color out of the pages and, you know, the animation in the anime form, and she was drained. Everything in those shots was bland compared to everything else. It's so clever and amazing how things are portrayed, just tiny little things they did, and it conveys this big message of struggle, and they keep fighting. Kosei, at the end, I won't give the entire ending away, but, you know, he got through it. He grew.
Talking about the realism, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, so much of what we watch because we want to escape reality. And I think that this show forces it to face reality. I mean, yeah, of course, there's some unrealistic things that happen, but when it comes down to the basic ideas, it is all so close to home, I guess is the best way to put it. So many people out there have had to deal with similar situations, abuse, you know, experiencing people dying and all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, I think, again, I'm going to jump forward to the last episode, so anyone who still wants to save some of the information, I'm going to try not to give it away, but you should probably just skip ahead. When they're, oh god, this was so emotional for me. I couldn't stop crying. When she was playing the violin, the invisible violin, I just thought, oh no, this, you know, they'll never get to play again together. But then they did on stage, even though technically she wasn't there. That fucked me up so much.
Yeah, that whole performance.
Oh my god.
That whole performance
it makes me want to cry now. Yeah. That was so rough.
As Shelby, like, the second he started playing, it was like maybe 5 minutes into the episode when his performance starts, and I started whimpering, like, as soon as he started playing.
I know, right?
Like, I'm just, like, whimpering and then whimpering, and then she shows up, and then it's just, like, heavy crying, and then it's just gross sobbing. And then even after the show ended, it was even more gross sobbing.
The worst part about it is while they're playing together spiritually, you know, there's no escaping the reality of the fact that the end is coming, and you know it, and you just, oh my god, it is heart-wrenching.
I got the sense of that was when it happened. Yeah,
I thought too. That's what I thought. Yeah, that was.
Like, I don't know if that's what they were trying to convey, but that's what I felt, and it was like it looked like he knew too as he was playing.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I think that's why he didn't want to end his piece either. It was kind of like that. If I stop now, he won't.
Yeah, like even jumping further to like the last 2 or 3 minutes, like the things that are uncovered in the last 3 minutes of the episode as far as after him meeting her parents. Holy shit. Like, the entire time, it was a giant ruse. And, oh my god, it was, that part is what fucked me up. The letter fucked me up.
Well, I think the worst part about it is how empty she was living her life.
Yeah.
And then she finally decided to change that, and oh my god, I'm even getting teary-eyed right now.
And, like, just for him to,
so
like,
sad.
always want something that he thought was never possible because of Watari. For that all to just come crumbling down because of a letter. It was just like...
It makes you...
I can't even put it into words. It's like, you're upset and you're angry, but you're sad, but you're happy. It's so... Just fucking watch it. Just fucking watch the damn show.
I get why she would not come forward with how she felt, but at the same time, should she have given him that letter? Should she have told him the truth?
I think it was the final closure. I think it was something that she obviously didn't feel comfortable with lying to him the whole time. But is he better for knowing? I don't know.
It makes you wonder, what would make it easier for him to live his life and move on past her?
Because
knowing or wondering?
His feelings will never change. He's always going to have the same feelings towards her one way or the other. But the amount of regret that he must feel after that letter.
Oh my god, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm like.
Because if he was just a little more loud, like if he just tried a little harder, if he just said something, if he just expressed anything, everything he would have wanted would have come true. At least for a little while.
You reminded me of something. Oh fuck. What was her name? So you know oh god damn it, I can't think of it. The female pianist who sees him as competition.
Yeah.
You know what I love is that Coyote and her were both there when he played.
Yeah.
And they both took such different turns. One of them wanted to be like him, and one of them wanted to be with him.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so incredible that she went home. She's like, I'm gonna play the violin. I don't want to have to. Compete. I don't want to say compete exactly, but you know, she wants to be.
She wants to be on stage with him, not against him.
And I think that it is so incredible. I saw that and I was like, holy shit, she's so awesome.
If this show does not tug at a single heartstring of yours,
you're dead inside.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what will. Like, it's this is the reason why I love watching romance from another country, because it's not all about shirtless people and rolling around in the sand like the American media portrays it. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that there's bad, you know, romance stories here in the States. You know, there are plenty of okay ones, but they're all the same. You know, it's I don't know. It's just so raw when it comes in the form of a cartoon. Like even I don't know how to put it. Like it was so real. The aspect of love and connection that show just conveyed to me. Like, I don't know if it was the same for everybody else, but I had such a connection with it because I related to the ups and downs and the twists and turns and the perfect imperfection of love that show got across. I feel like is the perfect example of love. Is it's not fucking perfect.
Overall, my big question for everyone is a big theme that was in Joliiee in April, and that's, did the music of our heroes reach you?
I would say definitely. The amount of tears I shed because of the show, I think, is pretty much evidence enough of how deep it touched me. That sounds way dirtier than I anticipated, but...
Well, it's true. I mean, I think they were able to portray these feelings to the best of their ability. I mean, it was incredible. And it really was deep, and it touched us. And again, just like Eric said, if you don't feel anything, you're dead inside.
I have to agree. You know, that show, all the musical pieces, the emotions, everything about it just absolutely thrilled me. And I recommend it to anyone, everyone.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, the show is super popular, so it's not like it's a hidden gem or anything. But if you haven't seen it, if somehow you stumbled upon this podcast because you were just searching random shit on YouTube at 2 a.m. and you're like, oh, that seems like a pretty cool show, what's that? Go watch the show. Go watch give it 5 episodes. Give it 5 episodes. Give it the 5-episode anime test, and if you're not hooked after 5 episodes, then just stop watching it. Because this show will grab you after 5.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to you guys. This is our opinion. This is what this whole podcast is about. It's just 3 nerds discussing what they liked and what they saw this past week. So, this episode was Your Lie in April. It's on Crunchyroll, which is this perfect segue for me to say support legal streaming. We've all done sub streams. We've all done, fan subs shit for the first, 5 or 6 years of me watching anime. That's all we had was fan subs. I was a member of Crunchyroll when it was all user driven and people uploaded their own fan subs. But if we want to keep these shows alive, not so much in the Western states, because in the Western part of the world, we tend to have a pretty big anime following in the Western part of the world. But where this stuff comes from, they need our support. We hear about anime houses closing down all the time. We hear about people retiring. We hear about shows getting canceled because, they're not being supported. If you can, I don't want to sit here and preach and tell you guys to go subscribe to a service that you can't afford. But if you can, throw them a few bucks every month. Help out legal streaming. Go to sites like Crunchyroll. Go to sites like Hulu. Pay the $5 a month to watch your favorite anime the day after it comes out in Japan in high res with proper subtitles. Who doesn't want that? I think that's worth it.
Alright guys, so that about wraps it up for today. I do want to let you guys know that next episode we are going to be talking about Parasite the Maxim, which you can also find on Crunchyroll, so if you want to go there, do it. It's a pretty awesome show, and I'm really excited to talk about it and see what you guys think.
It's a weird show.
It is so weird, but it's awesome.
Shelby made me sit down and start watching it.
Also, I find the character incredibly attractive, so that makes it even better.
Before or after his transformation?
Both.
I think the most attractive, which is, again, going to sound really weird, which we should not be talking about yet, is when he gets stabbed. But we will continue... We will continue so on morbid. That note next episode. Finally, please follow us, like us. All of our links are down below. And we want to hear what you think. So talk to us. We are open. We are here to talk to you guys. And we want to create this awesome community for everyone. So we will see you next time.
Laters.
Bye.